Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everyone is doing fine today. Let me make sure we're all doing good here. People already tuning in. This is awesome. Welcome to Midweek Motivation Live with Patrick Lee. Hope everyone's doing great today. It is the middle of June? Middle of June 2021. We are post-pandemic in Texas. Anyway, microphone is shaking a little bit. If I'll move that out of the way. Everything is good. Everyone's healthy, wealthy, and wise, I believe. People are already tuning in. I'm sure I'll head it at the comments. There's going to be Sal. Hey, Sal. Good to see you. A lot of people already watching online. Love that, love that, love that. I hope everyone's doing great. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about, I had switched my banners. I got the wrong one up front. We're going to be talking about modeling leadership and greatness. What does that mean? We ask that question every week, right? How do I model? What are you talking about when you talk about modeling leadership and greatness? I want to talk to you today a little bit from an article I read from John Maxwell. Many of you know John Maxwell is a motivational leader, life coach, and person, one of the leaders in the world in this field in greatness. He was a past pastor, preacher, and eventually became life coach and motivational speaker to many. And a lot of people I know. I have some local friends here who have actually gone to and graduated from John Maxwell University and are now life coaches as well, business coaches, and helping people. And he's always got something good to say. And every time I read John Maxwell, I never end up getting turned off. So it's always good. If it's always good, right? If it's good for me, it's good for you too. It can help us all. There are some people out there that I read and one book may be great and I get to the next one and I'm like, wow, what in the world is this guy saying? He's off on some new tangent. Hey, Terry, good to see you watching again as well. Love you, brother. And but every time I read John Maxwell or watch one of his videos, listen to one of his podcasts, it's always good. And this one is from a recent version of Success magazine. John Maxwell was interviewed by one of the writers there and wanted to have this little chat on modeling greatness, how to inspire the people you influence by modeling greatness. Mr. John Maxwell. He says true leaders are practical enough to know that vision without action achieves nothing. In the last one of the last shows, right, we talked about casting vision, write vision plain enough that people could run as they read it, and that's important, right? So if we're going to understand that concept, then we also need to know that having that vision, being able to cast that vision and write that vision plain, doesn't mean a whole lot if we can't act that out in front of the people that we are leading, right? Someone give me a hand clap, right? Yay. Little hand clap from the peanut gallery there. If we can't lead that, if we can't model that action, what good are we? And man, that just hit me like getting shot with a gun, right? If we can't model that leadership, if we can't model greatness or doing a good job in front of those that we claim to be leading or hope to be leading, then what good are we? We need to improve on who we are and how we do things, right? Hey, Cody, good to see you too. Always watching. Love that. I'll see you later today, my friend. So this little story he told at the beginning of this was pretty funny. In this article, he talked about being a young boy in school, looking out the window in elementary school, daydreaming about other things you would rather be doing and other places you would rather be. And that was one of my stories as well. I was always, as a very, very, very young guy, daydreaming. I was looking out the window. There were times I would sneak a comic book into school and I would have my comic book inside my math book. And I'd be reading something about superheroes or traveling to faraway lands, or it could have been anything. I was always had my nose in the book and was dreaming or looking out the window, daydreaming about things I'd rather be doing, places I'd rather be, people I'd rather be outside playing with. You know, it could have been anything. So that was kind of who I was. And then as we get a little older, we are sort of taught that that is not acceptable, right? Did your teacher ever come in and call you out in front of class because she had called your name to answer a question, or could see that you were daydreaming and tried to get your attention and had to call your name 3 or 4 times. And and then ends up everyone in the class is laughing at you because they caught you looking out the window daydreaming, not paying attention in class. So my teachers ended up putting together this little chart that about the 2nd or 3rd grade, they would put together their sticker chart. And if I would just pay attention in class and turn in my work, like everyone else, I would get a sticker, a gold star. It could have been something, and that sticker was always a goal for me. I wanted to get the sticker. I wanted this sticker chart to be full of gold stickers so I could go home and show mom that I was paying attention in school. And my grades went from being ends or not satisfactories to all satisfactories to, and then eventually going on to in 3rd and 4th grade to excelling in reading and writing, penmanship and things along those lines, because I started absorbing it. But the teachers start teaching you to quit daydreaming, that you need to put your face in the right books and you need to start getting an education, right? Hey, Christine, good to see you as well every week. And so they start teaching us to quit daydreaming and thinking about the future. You need to think in the present. You need to be concentrating on what's going on today. But then as we get older, we get a little bit of an education and we come into our careers and we may be stepping into a leadership role. Now that thing inside of us that they've tried to squash for all of these years is what we find ourselves moving back into, the mindset of, I need to be a vision caster. I need to be a dreamer again. I need to set goals. And these are things that I'm going to be setting way out in the future. I can't just concentrate on today. I can't just concentrate on today. I have to concentrate on the future, because today's actions are good enough for today, but they're not always going to be enough to carry me into the future. So if there is a worthwhile progression of a logical progression of a worthwhile goal, then we have set the goal and we start casting the vision of how we're going to achieve the goal. We put in a plan, we set that in motion. Then we have to start moving, thinking ahead. How are we going to get to the future, right? And that requires us to start dreaming again, to start goal setting again, to start thinking, what could happen if we did this? And if we want to get to here, how are we going to get there? Who is it going to take? How many people am I going to need to be following me, linking arms with me to get forward to the goal? So John Maxwell has actually put together these 4 steps. He calls the law of the picture is what he calls the principle. I just call it inspiring greatness, modeling leadership and greatness. And he says it kind of like this: at the same time, true leaders are practical enough to know that vision without action achieves nothing. They are stewards of their own vision. The temptation may be to simply communicate this vision to others. But if that's all you do and you don't communicate it clearly, creatively, and continually while going beyond communication, you're going to have a problem. If you will learn to effectively model the vision to make the picture truly come alive for your whole team, you'll be much more successful going down the road. Hey, Ross, good to see you, bro. Fasa, brotato chip. If you are a milkshake, you'd be a protein shake, brother. Love you, Ross. You're a good guy. So we're going to go into these 4 steps. Number 1, the number 1 step in modeling leadership and greatness is someone watching you. You bet they are. Someone is always watching you. I'm a child of the 60s and 70s, but then MTV came around in the 80s. And I think it was Genesis, Phil Collins, maybe one of those bands that had the song that I always feel like somebody's watching me. And it was funny. Who is watching me? It's always somebody. We're going to talk specifically today about leadership and the people that you're in business with or leading. But basically, someone's always watching you. And everything that you do, your parents used to say, goes on your permanent record, right? And people are always looking at your record, from your school records to college records to work records to criminal records. When you're applying for a job, they want to do a background check. They want to see if you're legit. So everything goes on your record. People are watching you. In this particular instance, it's the people that you are working with, around, or have the charge of, not because you are in charge of people, but you have people that you have the charge of, people that are in your charge, working with you. in a leadership capacity. If you're a parent, you probably already realized that your children are always watching what you do. How many of you realize that your kids will say the darndest things because they learn to say the darndest things from you? Hey, Marlene, good to see you. Also, how many of you have had your kids or grandkids around at a family gathering and all of a sudden something comes out of their mouth and everyone jerks their head around and goes, "Oh my Lord, I don't know where they learned that word." And everyone in the room looks at them and they laugh, and then they look at the parent because they know where they learned it. Yes, Ross, the police are watching you, in my best Sting voice. That's funny. The police was great. Your daughter always watching you. Hey, Elva, good to see you as well. Yes, our kids are always watching us. And now I'm impressed. My daughters will go on social media and they'll make a post about me, like for Father's Day. And they'll say all of these nice things. Hey, you were always leading us by example. You're always setting a good example. You're always telling us to do the right thing. And not only were you telling us to do the right thing, you were actually walking those things out. And that always impresses me, that I lived a good enough life for your kids to come back and compliment you on that and tell you that they appreciate that. Those things mean the world to me, and I believe that they do to you too. So just remember, people are always watching you. Always watching you, and your group, your team, your family will rise or fall to the level that you do, to a degree, usually not 100%. My goal, and it should be your goal as well, if you have children or people that you're leading, is for those people to always rise above you. My goal is for my kids to do 10 times better than me. I want them to make more money. I want them to have a bigger house. I want them to have more happiness, more life experiences, more joy, peace, and love than even I had. And it's hard to believe that someone could say that, but it should be true. And it should be your goal as much as it is my goal. I want the people that are watching me to do so much better than me. I want people to work for me for a year or two and then move on, and we seed them out into a new career, that they start their own real estate company, their own real estate team. They just move, lead, grow, and far exceed me. And all of those things actually heap glory on us. The glory goes to God. But it enriches our life as those people go on and do better than we did, right? Hope this is making sense for you, some of y'all. This is a huge concept. Those that we lead are always watching us, and our goal needs to be that they're watching us model greatness so they can see how to enact that in their life and move forward and do better than we do, right? Hey, Jim, yes, it is a blessing when your kids come back and say thank you. Then your grandkids. Amen, brother. I'll have grandkids someday. Concept number 2, those who can't do teach. How many of you have ever heard that? Many times. A lot of people have gone to conferences and realized that they know more than the person teaching the conference. A lot of people have gone to work for somebody and realized that the person that they work for doesn't have any clue what they're doing. They know more than the teacher. But so this concept has been around a long time, and many people have said this: those who can't do teach. I used to know one person who was a business coach, and people came back to me and said, that person has never done anything in their life as far as success. They've never achieved more than a certain amount of number in sales. Why in the world would that person be considered a coach? Because now all they are is a teacher. They can tell you what to do, but they can't do it themselves. Norman Vincent Peale said this: nothing is more confusing than people who give good advice but set a bad example. Many of us have experiences in our life, and we know examples of people like this. Nothing's more confusing than people who give good advice but set a bad example. Those who can't do, teach. So my challenge to you would be, are you simply a teacher, or are you a doer? One of my earliest challenges as a leader, John Maxwell says, was to raise my level of living to the level of my teaching. I still remember the day I decided I wouldn't teach anything until I tried to live it out myself. That was a tough decision, but as a young leader, I was learning to embrace this law of the big picture that he talks about at the beginning. Related to Norman Vincent Peale's quote, nothing is more confusing than people who give good advice but set a bad example. I would say on the other side of that is, nothing is more convincing than people who give good advice by setting a good example. So I would challenge you today. I tell you guys a lot, but the things that I teach on the show, I've learned a lot of other people. I put them into practice in my own life. I teach you to get up early in the morning, right? Make your bed. Before you look at social media and pick up your phone, why don't you get, silent for a few minutes? Get silent, get centered on who you are, your relationship with God, what you're going to do for the day. Go to the bathroom, wash your face with ice cold water, wake up, get your bearings about you, get centered before you ever go out and start thinking about picking up your phone and becoming reactionary, right? You should start out and be a person of action. You shouldn't start your day with reaction, looking at your phone and putting out fires immediately. It's gonna set your day off wrong. So I teach you a lot of these different examples that other people have taught me. Everyone from Zig Ziglar to Napoleon Hill to Les Brown to Tony Robbins to generals and admirals and great business leaders. These are the people that we need to model ourselves after. So we try to live by example, right? I know I'm not perfect. I tell y'all that you should probably go work out. So I go to the gym. During COVID, hardly anyone worked out, right? So we worked out a little bit from home. We all put on a few extra pounds. But now, it's time when the gyms are open and you know that you need to go, you just go. So I'm back to the gym, back with the massage therapist, back to the chiropractor, because I know that at 57 years old, it's good to keep my body in alignment. So I'm trying to set good examples. I can't teach something if I'm not willing to do it myself, right? So we need to try to be a good example to those we are leading. Number 3 kind of ties into this. Number 3 is actually the man in the mirror. Michael Jackson, right? Great song. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Always work on changing yourself before you decide to try and lead others to do the same thing. So if you can't model greatness in front of others, why in the world would you want to try to teach greatness? And a lot of parents have said, and other bosses have said, and I don't agree with this, and they say, do as I say, not as I do. I think that's the worst thing that you can do. The worst thing that you can say. You know what I mean? Do as I say, not as I do. That is so contradictory, because if you want me to do what you say and not what you do, it's apparent to me that you don't believe what you say and you're overweight. You know what I mean? You're not even going to the gym. You don't have any money. You don't have any relationships. You don't even have a job. Who are you to tell me you don't have a business? Who are you to tell me how I need to live my life? You need to go. I can tell you what you need to do. You want to get your cholesterol down? This is what you need to do. You want to lose 20 pounds? I tell you exactly. I know just how to do it. If you need to make some money, I can tell you just how to go make. I can go tell you how to make $10,000 in a month. I'm like, okay, why don't you get off the couch and go do that? And when you've modeled that, then come back and tell me how to do it. If you can't model it, if you're not willing to live it, you're probably not going to be a person that's top 5. You're probably not going to be the person that I'm going to be watching their podcast. I'm not going to be buying your books. I'm not going to be going to your seminars. If you can't live what you're teaching, I'm probably not going to have you in my life as a life coach. Does that make sense? So always be looking at the man in the mirror. That's me. Every time I point at you, I've got 3 more fingers pointing back at me, right? Always be looking at the man in the mirror. It's a good thing to do in the morning. Part of that time, you're getting centered with yourself. Wash your face with cold water. Wake up. Stand there and look at yourself in the mirror. Look deep in your eyes. Look at yourself. Look at your body. Look at your physique and say, am I being all that I can be? And if I'm not, what am I going to do today to change that? Talk to God. Say your prayers. I don't care if you talk to the universe. I hope you talk to God. If you talk to the universe, I doubt the universe talks back or gives you insight into what you need to do, but God sure will. And do that self-checkup from the neck up, right? Definitely. Always be looking at the man in the mirror. Number 4, this is a good one as well, by setting a great example. The most valuable gift a leader can do is be the example. Once you've done that self-checkup, you've learned what you're going to do for the day, get out there and do it. More than anything else, employees want leaders whose beliefs and actions line up with what they say. They want good models who lead from the front. How hard is it to lead people when you're trying to tell people where to go and you're in the back of the pack and you're yelling to the front with a megaphone telling everybody, go right, go left, go forward? No, the best leader is leading from the front. If you're climbing a hill, You've got one hand forward to the hill, pulling yourself up, and behind you, your other hand is reaching down to those that are with you, helping them to the top, right? You're not behind, pushing everybody. You're leading and helping them by playing follow the leader. One of the number one games we used to learn when we were a little kid, right? Follow the leader. If you learn how to follow the leader, follow good leaders, you'll always end up getting to where you want to go. One of the things that I've learned in my own life, and I hope that y'all have too, or that you will through some of these teachings, is picking a good leader. There are times that you have a good leader you're working with, and you realize during the journey that you're not going the right direction. Well, then you have to make that course correction, right? Maybe you need to find a new leader. I would challenge you to find a leader who has been to where you want to go, right? Even if it's one time, follow a leader that's been where you want to go. It's good to link arms together. I agree. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Link arms, go towards a common goal, which is great. When everyone is going the same direction, you move much faster and smoothly. But sometimes you're going to realize that your leader's not going the direction that you want to go. It's not going to get you to the goal that you're trying to achieve, right? And there becomes that time you have to make that course correction. It's just a fact of life. It just is what it is. So you have to change leaders. Follow a leader that has been where you want to go. Yes, Terry, exactly. God is the center of your epic. He wants to be your epicenter. I love that. Thanks, Greg. Love that too. Ross, a lot of good comments on here, man. Yes, Ross, get your butt back in the gym. There, Patrick, just so back in the gym. Stud, man. Leadership is more caught than taught. How many of y'all have ever heard that? What does that mean? What does it mean? Leadership is more caught than taught. It means it's easier to catch leadership by watching the leader than just listening to what a leader says. And that's really my challenge to you this week. Leadership is more caught than taught. How do you catch leadership? Leadership is contagious. You get it from watching good leaders. The majority of leaders emerge because of the impact made upon them by established leaders who modeled leadership and then mentored them. When I think about my leadership journey, I feel that I've been fortunate to have excellent models from whom I have caught various aspects of leadership. Perseverance from my father, encouragement from Ken Blanchard, vision from Bill Bright, intensity from Bill Hybel, to name only a few. As Nobel Peace Prize winner Albert Schweitzer observed, example is leadership. If you can set a good example, I've shared a lot of mine with you on here. Jim Rohn is phenomenal. Napoleon Hill is great. Norman Vincent Peale, Tony Robbins. There are a lot of people that I look up to and try to listen to their advice. Ed Milet is phenomenal. John Maxwell, of course, one of the great leaders. There are so many out there. I've got leaders in my own business. Jake Hinder and Michael Reese are at the top, at the pinnacle of the real estate world, and I look up to them because they have been like number 2 and number 3 in the entire nation in production in real estate, putting together real estate teams. Why would I want to go learn from another real estate agent? And I have had local brokers take me out to coffee and want to tell me that they can make me rich and financially successful in real estate if I come join their brokerage. And they've never had more than 10 agents at their entire brokerage. And they've never had one single person that they mentored that became financially successful in real estate. So I've gotten to the point where I was super nice 8 years ago when I got into this industry. I was very naive. And of course, I'm going to be polite to a fault. I was loyal to a fault, which kept me where I needed to be for the time being. But I am now bold enough to ask these people, if you come to me and tell me that you're a leader and you want me to follow your example, you need to show me some proof. The proof's in the pudding, right? You can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat. So if there's no meat to eat, there's no pudding to come along behind. This is many of you that are more my age are going to get a lot of these references. So the proof is in the pudding, but you can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat. So leadership by example, man. I want you guys to be successful. If you're following a leader that's taking you the wrong direction, I challenge you to find a new leader. If you are in charge of other people, I challenge, even if you're just a co-worker at a company, just a co-worker at a company does not mean just a co-worker at a company. If you're a co-worker at a company, you have leadership in you. You have it within you to rise to the top, to become the cream of the crop, the top of the heap. And I want to challenge you to do that in your journey as well, right? That's wow. Hey, here you go. We're going to show that comment, Terry. You can't follow a lost leader. That is so good, man. I appreciate that. You guys, hey, man, I do this as a service to you each and every week because I love you. I want you to be successful in life. I do sell real estate for a living. If you know anyone that's wanting to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate, I'd appreciate it if you give me a call at 806-570-7712. The market is super hot right now. You're going to make the most amount of money for your home. We are selling homes right and left. Believe me, right and left, front and back. We're selling homes all over town. We're helping buyers all over town. Literally 2 minutes before we started this video, we just submitted an offer on another property that we were out showing again this morning at the crack of dawn for our clients. And I rushed in here and was able to get online in time for you. But this is what I do for a living. We do it well. I appreciate each and every one of you. Your referrals mean the world to me. And if anyone you know is looking to buy or sell a home, click on the link to my digital business card in the comments below this video as well, created by Content Cardz, and schedule an appointment in my calendar. I'll be happy to get back with you quick, and we'll see what we can't do to help you or your friend as well. And that's just what I do. We do it all day, every day. We love it. We love taking care of you. I hope this has helped you a lot today. And I want you to challenge you to be a good example where you work, whether you're the leader or the co-worker. You have leadership within you. I believe in you. And remember this, courage begins at the end of your comfort zone. So get out of that comfort zone, jump out there today, be the leader that God created you to be. I'll see you next week.